Board games, board games. I'm gonna be cooking today. Board games. I'll tell you about what I played. Yesterday I played some games and choreo, something to be defined. Sagrada, Kitty Cataclysm were their names. And today I'm gonna do a cooking show. I've got beetroots and a turnip, which is designed to give a big shout out to the next Bezzy Bargain bag that I'm going to make. That's what I'm all about right now. I also grabbed some things that were reduced: red cabbage and leeks and cabbage, all for 20p. I got this produce, board games and cooking. It's what I'm talking about. Board games and cookery. I'm not gonna shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. And today, in order to kind of celebrate, yes, why do I say kind of celebrate? In order to celebrate a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your beetroots, I'm going to make something involving beetroots. I'm going to stir fry these beetroots. I'm going to cut them up and then I'm going to slice them, and that's basically all the slicing. I'm also going to experiment. I know that a turnip can't normally be used in a stir fry, but I thought, maybe if I leave it quite a while, it might work. I'll put it in, and then if it's terrible, I'll chuck it out. I mean, turnips are not the most expensive thing. I will have like a tiny bit of red cabbage. I was given this red cabbage as a present, so I'm going to have about maybe 1/6 of this red cabbage in there, just a wee bit. I've also got all these packs that I got, reduced price. Look, for 20p. This one's got leeks, which are quite nice for having that softness. It's also got a bit of green cabbage. I think that's going to bring that softness around. We've got spring greens, which are not something that I normally have. I imagine that's going to want to go in right at the end. We've got some pre-cut broccoli, carrots, baby corn and sugar snap peas, although it is mainly the carrots and the broccoli. So I'm going to open this up and probably put that in the middle. So what I'm planning is to slice this up, put it in a wee bowl, slice this up, put it in a bigger bowl, slice this up maybe in a different bowl, because I think it will be turnips, start that cooking, then beetroots, then cabbage and these, and then I think I'd want to put these things at the end just for a couple of minutes. Oh, and I might also, potentially, I've got some fancy noodles. I might open up one of these packs of the ribbon noodles and squeeze this open and put in some noodles in there, and we'll see how much of this stuff, the beetroot, turns red. And that's what I'm quite excited about. It's kind of like a scientific experiment. How much of it will go red? And will any of it be left white or green? Or, I mean, I know from past experience, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. And but yes, wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, wherever you are, 10 a.m. UK time, Busy Beats and Board Game Blether. And yesterday I did not have a show. Yesterday I was doing some personal stuff, but today I am back, and I hope that you're excited for my first ever cooking show. I do apologize in advance for how bad a lot of the camera angles are going to be, but hey, there we go. So, let's see, that is my chopping board. I've got my chopping board on the cooker. I know that's not the best place, but I thought at least that way I won't have to sort out multiple angles. And you can't see my face, but hey ho. So let's start off talking about recent highlights. Recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights. Recent highlights, playing games and other delights. Recent highlights. Recent highlights. Well, yesterday I went and I really treated myself. It was one of those special offers, and I got professional makeup done, and I learned a wee bit about it. Then I went to play board games at London on Board. London on Board, a lovely place. It's one of the original people, Martin Griffiths, who set it up, has. So I don't have actual bins. I've just got a random bin bag on the ground. But yes, Martin Griffiths. I believe was the one who set it up, along with quite a few other folk. Apologies to all the other early organisers who I'm not mentioning, but I found my way back after several years. I'd not been in maybe 4 years or something. I'm now in a slightly more central location. It's not so far for me to get to, and yesterday it was quite exciting to be there and to say, oh, here we are, what's going on, who are these people? And I got to play one game that was entirely new to me, which I had read the instructions for but never actually got into play. One prototype of mine, Kitty Cataclysm, which is a published game of mine, and also Sagrada, which I've played a couple of times before. But yeah, it's quite a nice modular scoring game. And there we go with the turnips. So let me get the photos up of that. And let me make that a wee bit smaller. I think, that's probably a good size. So I'm going to need to put these turnips in a wee bowl. So, yes, Choreo. That is the picture of that is being shown on the screen just now. Choreo is a card game by Gary Kim, who I don't know, but their name is very prominently on the box, so I assume they're very proud of it. Congratulations, it was a fun game to play. This was one of the games that I got ages ago from Mark at Terracon in a big bundle, where I basically said, yeah, sure, I'll buy all of these games. And Mark gave me a big reduced price on them. And I was, just making my way through them. That's the same bundle that Empire Express, which seems to have been previously completely unplayed, and a whole bunch of other games came from. Anyway, so in Choreo, you've got cards, you've got 1-1, 2-2s, 3-3s, 4-4s, and so forth, up till 9-9s. And each turn you're playing one of these numbers, as many as you have in your hand, and at the end of the game, the person with the most 9s will get 9 points. The person with the most 8s will get 8 points, and so forth. So that is what is at the core of it. To make it a little bit more interesting, some of the cards have special powers. So the 8, for example, is letting you draw extra cards each turn. One of them lets you play 2 different suits rather than as many as you want of one suit. Playing one of one suit and one of another can actually let you spread and gain majorities more quickly, which is quite exciting. You've got another card that lets you keep extra cards each turn, because there is a good amount of luck in this game. And if you draw many cards of one type, then obviously you're going to want to play them all. But the thing that mitigates a little bit of the luck is to say, hey, after the first round, you can only keep 3 cards, second round, 4 cards, and so forth. And up to the 8th round, where I think, it will be 10 cards total. And so one of the powers letting you keep extra cards is going to be really good at the start of the game, where you can only keep a few. Whereas later on, it's the one that lets you draw more cards, because the number of cards that you get to draw each turn is going down and down and down. It was definitely a lot of luck in this game, and with 3 players, so much player chaos. It was quick, it was easy enough. I think I will definitely be wanting to play this again. Might try it with Chris and McCall on Monday, see how they get on with it. And I'd be interested to play it at 4 players. I imagine at 2 it might feel a little bit drier and less exciting, because it's only you and one other competing for these majorities. And that feels a little bit more uninteresting. A little bit less interesting, I should say. Let's be positive. But yes, Choreo, that was a great game. So that is another picture of Choreo, and the reason why there's little victory point tokens is that as well as the 45 points up for grabs, with one person having the 9 points from the 9s, and one person having the 8 points from the 8s, and so forth. There's also a card that lets you take victory point tokens from the bank, and one that lets you steal them, and so that adds another potentially 8 things. Next game that we played was a prototype of mine, and I'll leave that there while I talk about it and continue chopping these beetroots, which I have now peeled. This is going to be quite a simple stir fry. There's not a lot of chopping involved and not a lot of preparation, so it should be quite a quick process. We will see. Anyway. So, yes. Let me actually make this one bigger. There we go. So, this is a game, and how should I chop these things? I think I'm going to put it into smaller sections just to really get the red to run through everything else. It's going to be fairly thin. I'm going to add it quite a bit after the turnips, but not too long before everything else, possibly at the same time as the cabbage. So yes, this is going to really colour everything. Beetroots is like such a simple way to give food a lovely red colour, which of course is very on brand for me, for those who don't know. Anyway, yes, my game that you see on the screen, it is about selecting 7 cards that hopefully synergize. That's basically it. And there's a couple of rules that I need to work out. There's a slight, I don't want to say memory issue, but it's at the point where I'm now needing to play it over and over and over. It is basically a 5-10 minute game. I am also... So, what's interesting about this game is that not only are you looking at certain tags on the cards, not only are you looking at, for example, creature types or things that are written down in text or names of specific cards, but you're also looking at things in the artwork that are turned almost into symbols to be super easy to see. So in some of the cards, you're rewarded for having party hats, or musical notes, or creatures with a certain number of arms or legs, and all the while you're thinking, okay, can I grab this creature to fit this item of clothing on it? Do I want a hiker, and then the hiker just wants lots of landscapes? Or if I've got lots of landscapes anyway. Maybe I want someone who's, yeah, like maybe I want plants, and maybe I want to go into nature, and maybe I want a gardener who likes having lots of plants. There's different ways to have synergy. There's some cards that force you to sacrifice other things, which is kind of a build around me, and it gives you lots of guidance. So with the robots revolution, the robots will kill all the creatures, so that's a bit sad. But then as long as you don't have any creatures, then you're okay. And there's the industrial revolution where you can't grab any nature. There's the hermit where you can't grab any creatures. There's the basher who bashes an item, and so forth. I am still at the point where I'm trying to work out exactly what the card should be, what is interesting, what sort of variation is needed before I actually really start thinking about the card balance. But it was interesting enough that they didn't mind playing free games, and so that was really gratifying. And so yeah, that is my prototype, a game about speedily selecting 7 cards that hopefully synergize. And there you see the robot revolution and the singing tree and stuff. I also played Sagrada. I won this one. Sorry. So with Sagrada, it's a game about modular scoring. You've got, I mean, the modular scoring isn't all that modular. When I looked at it, it's okay, you've got one about different colors on rows, one about different colors on columns, one about different numbers on rows, different numbers on columns, low numbers, medium numbers, high numbers. And there's another one which is about having things diagonally next to each other. The puzzle feels like it's basically going to be very similar each turn. There are little tools that you will potentially use, but you might if you're relying on them too much, then you're probably not going to win. So it does feel like it's not like Cascadia, where you get an incredible amount of variation from one game to the next and saying, okay, how does this all work together? Now it's a brand new puzzle for me to solve. And sure, but it does feel like there's a little bit less dramatic variation, but there's a lot of, if you like a little bit of number crunching, a little bit of pondering, then this might be a game for you. And hello, Rob. It is lovely to see you. Speedily speaking selected sibilance. I don't know what sibilance means. It is lovely to see you. And this is my other photo of Sagrada. And finally, for recent highlights, played 5-player Kitty Cataclysm. This was one of my winning hands, and it was with these lovely people. And that is the end of my... I forgot to even put up the thing. That was the end of my recent highlights. So at this point, if anyone's got any questionably quick questions, then please go ahead. Otherwise, going to talk about actually, let me just put that there. Brilliant thing. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Beetroots. Beetroots are pretty brilliant. Beetroots are brilliant because they color everything, and that's kind of exciting. You can eat them raw, but I think that with a little bit of cooking, maybe a bit of vinegar. Oh, I wonder if I should put vinegar before I cook them. That would be quite fun, potentially. Let me do that. I'm going to put them all into this bowl. So, got this bowl. In go the beetroots. I mean, really, I should have done this like hours ago, but I think that a bit of vinegar on all of this. This is going to be quite fancy. Putting some balsamic vinegar, slather it over it. There we go. And it's going to hopefully help break it down and make it a little bit softer. Let's mix that together. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just making this up as I go along. But yes, that's his beetroots, all cut and ready. Boom. And finally, we've got this red cabbage, which for some reason the supermarket has elected to put wrap on. It seems a bit superfluous, frankly, the plastic wrap. But brilliant things. Yes, beetroots are brilliant because they colour everything, and that's kind of exciting. And also beetroots are brilliant because you can have them raw or cooked, and you can have them in a variety of ways. Yes, beetroots. And hello, Josie. Well, these are my hands, who asks, how pink are your hands? And yes, I hope that you are well. So, as I said, feel free to comment, ask questions, fun, like, follow. I wish I had a little picture of a game about quickly grabbing creatures, and let me see if I can find one on Busy Bargain Bags. Yeah, that'll do. I'll show you some of the original art. There we go. And so this whole stream is to celebrate my forthcoming games about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your beetroots. Or radishes is going to be the next version, and turnips is the one that already came out. So as you can see from this picture, the creatures have 2 tentacles, 4 arms, 6 wings, and they might have 1 tail or 2 legs or 6 legs. And they might have 0 eyes, which is shown, 1 eye with a cat-like face, 2 eyes, or 3 eyes with tentacles. Yeah, there you go. There's some of the 3 tentacled eyes things. So, yes, that is the reason that I'm doing this stream. So I'm just washing this cabbage. It's what I'm doing right now. Washing the cabbage. And yeah, probably only using maybe 1/6 of it. I don't need a lot of cabbage. I've got a lot of other stuff. But a wee bit would be fine. And I will put the rest of it into the fridge for a later date. Let's use about this much. So yes, let me get the chat back. So I was saying, feel free to comment, ask questions from like follow. You can get golden beetroots. Golden beetroots? Wow, I was not aware. Oh yes, I think I did see that actually while I was doing my Google searching for. But are they like? That seems slightly sad. I mean, when you could have red beetroots, why would you want yellow beetroots? The question for you is, are you? Oh, that's not going to get rid of that wee bit. That doesn't look good. So the rest of it looks fine. Yep, just that wee bit looks a bit nasty. But yeah, golden beetroots. Does it turn everything yellow? That's what I want to know. But I hope you'll understand why I decided to go with the red. Because also, turning everything red, that is quite exciting. I can't imagine yellow having much of a pigment, because you basically need to bleach things in order to turn them yellow. Whereas in order to turn something red, I think that's a lot more doable. Anyway, so yes, a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your turnips, beetroots, radishes, the games that can be combined for higher player counts. It came about, unless anyone else has got anything that they really want me to talk about, I'll talk about the genesis of that. And I think that is all my cutting and prep work done. Amazing. Boom. I will put that to the side, give it to wash later, and there we go. Boom. Yay. Yes. Oh, my laptop is. Need to make sure it's plugged in. Thank you very much, Josie. Yes, I did reapply some stuff, and so thank you. There we go. Plugs in again. Yes, I did reapply stuff. Rob says I have grown golden beetroots and they were delicious. They don't noticeably turn everything yellow, but I didn't cook them with rice or anything that would easily take colour. See, that's what I'm doing today. I am seeing how much colour can be added. Like, do you think the cabbage and leeks will turn yellow? Red? I don't know. I think that this will be the more challenging thing. I feel like with these spring greens, and I feel like this is going to be... This feels like it's a lot more stronger green, so maybe this might not turn as red, but I think it'll be okay. The white, from previous experience, this definitely turns red, but with white bits, because I think it takes a bit of time to absorb the redness. Oh, the peas might remain green. So this, yeah, look, that's all the veg I got for 20p. Like all of it for 80 pence. I hypothesized that the broccoli will stay green, at least the end bits, that the peas will not take much colour because, you know, it's quite smooth on the outside. I don't see it being porous enough for stuff to go in. But yeah, these are definitely going to turn more red, for sure. Anyway, we will see what happens. And yeah, stripy beetroots. That does sound really cool indeed. So hopefully the laptop will be safe. I was thinking about like if I could get a plastic shield for here, but I'm not sure what I would use. So yeah, I'm trying to get it under high heat. There we go. And yes. So we're going to... The only issue is that once I do that, it kind of... Yeah. Let me actually bring it like that so I can maybe see a wee bit more of my face. Okay, we've got that. Let's crack on the heat. It's the time to get ready. And I'm going to get the plates ready as well. Because why not? I will need a plate in just a wee moment. This will probably be way too much for me to eat, but I expect to eat it for like, you know, a few meals. Okay, so first things first. I was saying we're going to put in the turnips. We'll see how that goes. I imagine that these will need a bit more cooking. Turnips. Big slices of turnips. And so if it doesn't work, you know, we can always remove them. It's all good. Just big slices of turnips. Experimenting, seeing what happens. That's what I'm all about today. And because I don't have the biggest thing, look, just through my hands, they've already gotten the tiny bits of redness. Wow. So yes, I was going to talk about the origin of the game. It all started in Cannes. The last Cannes I went to, 2020. I went to that one. I know that, yeah, COVID was coming soon. It wasn't really on our radar at that time, the pandemic. It felt like something so far away, do you know what I mean? Like it wasn't really part of our reality. I went to Cannes, and while I was there looking around, trying to gain inspiration for what could I make that would potentially be a mass market game, I went in with the objective of trying to make something that would, yeah, sell a good number of copies. And I thought, okay, there's all these games about speedily grabbing things. There's all these games about making matches. I saw a game about, okay, there's colors and you need to find the right color, kind of like one game from Cortex, but then making a whole game about it. Other games where you need to, like, there's so many things. Cortex is actually really exciting, and there's so much going on in there, so many aspects that could be taken into one game in their own right. But then I looked around, and what I thought is, what about a game where you're trying to avoid matches? What about a game where if you match anything, then you lose? That would be interesting, right? Or trying to find two things that are completely unique. That's how it started. Wow, look at that ball. It is completely red. So, I thought to myself, okay, you've got a certain number of tops, you've got a certain number of middles, and you've got a certain number of bottoms. So that aspect of it was always there. And so February, I think March, yeah, 2020, I did that. It was definitely before Aircon. I played a version with Chris and McCall where at the time the rules were that you started putting down more and more cards, kind of like Set, if you're familiar with the game of Set. And then as time goes on, eventually there would definitely be a match. So you're flipping over a card. Is there a match? If yes, then point to it and you win those points. If no, then don't point to it and you don't win those points, but you also don't lose anything. That was the original version. And then I didn't do anything with it for about 2 years because, yeah, pandemic. I'm now putting in... It feels like the broccoli would surely want more time to cook. Come on. Surely these are not things that all go in at the same time. Especially those big pieces of broccoli. And you want the carrots since marginally longer. Like the peas just don't need... Anyway. Wow, the beetroots aren't turning things as red as I was expecting. Oh no, there we go. Broccoli starting to turn red. Anyway, so for a while I tried playing games online. It just didn't work. It felt like it felt like playing games online. You just can't test these kinds of quick games about grabbing things or games about... There are certain games that require you to be in the same space together. And sure, if a game is primarily about working out mathematical things, which, don't get me wrong, I loved playing Sagrada yesterday. And that would be a lovely game to test and improve and refine on any of the digital playing platforms. And so I think that kind of game, yes, it can work really well, but something like a game about grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your turnips. So anyway, so I've not gotten into the turnip yet, but that comes later. So 2021, around September, I want to say, maybe October, I brought it out again, saying, okay, this is a game that I've played before. It's definitely something interesting, but I want to try a few variants for it because the game itself doesn't quite work. At the time, it was like, okay, do we put cards into the middle? Take turns putting cards into the middle, and then whoever spots a grabs it. There was another version where you had cards in front of yourself, and you were trying to match in the middle. And then David Bray mentioned that they liked Grabble because Grabble, everyone's got their own little stack. And in Grabble, you don't feel like you're constantly losing, like you're constantly, losing fights over after fights over Oh wow, this is a lot of spring greens. I'm probably not going to put them all in. But yeah, so we then tried it with rules very similar to Gravel, and that worked. And then it was Andrew Beardsley who said, you know what, this feels nice, but there should be something more to it. Something like, I don't know, once in a while you grab stuff and there's a turnip. And I don't know what turnips do, but maybe it makes you stand up or something, and everyone's laughing, so maybe you should have turnips. And Andrew was right. Andy said turnips, and everyone was kind of laughing a little bit at how different the notion of turnips, how weirdly it fits in. You've got these whimsical, quite surreal creatures, and then you've got these, you've got these mundane turnips. In my mind, I thought, well, if you've got turnips, they are completely different to all the creatures, but so that makes them really easy to grab. You can't grab them next to each other. Maybe there's a limit on how many you can grab. And that was it. That was what I went with. And then the rest of the game design was just figuring out the number. Is the maximum 3? All that kind of worked. That's interesting. Is the maximum 4? Oh, that is the maximum 5. Oh, okay. Now I'm starting to forget how many I have. You have to keep count of your veg. And there's an actual decision of when you grab it. My current strategy is to wait until I'm stuck, and then when there's quite a few creatures and stuff on the board already, I will go turnip creature, grab 4 of them, and then keep the 5th for right at the end. So I've got 1 in backup. So that way I don't have to constantly think how many have I grabbed. I think that having some sort of routine that you always do does make the game a little bit easier. But yeah, that is how it came about. And because of the card counts, I could, you know what, I'm going to leave some of these for later as well, for a later meal. Maybe I'll cook them tonight, I don't know. But yeah, for the card counts, I wanted to have all of the possible creatures. So with 4 heads, 3 bodies, and 3 bottoms, that's 4 times 3 times 3 makes 36. So that's why there's 36 creatures. I could have gone with a different number, but with 36 creatures, that leaves 16 spaces for turnips or whatever veg I'm using. And then the question became, how many of these, if people are allowed to grab 5, then it's suitable for 3 players only, because I want there to be enough turnips or beetroots or whatever for everyone. It's not meant to be a race of grabbing the beetroots. It's meant to be a decision. And that key decision point is, when do you grab these? Because when you grab them, the earlier you grab them, like, it's not like earlier is better or later is better. You just want to grab them while you still can, but are there to get you out of a tricky spot. Anyway, I'm not sure I will actually bother with these noodles unless I put them in a separate pot. What do you think? I feel like because this is a cooking show, I could actually use another wee pot, and let's put another wee pot in the heat. Get some. This is a wee bit late, but I'm going to get some, turn that down or off. Get some water on the boil. And hopefully get some noodles, and then we'll have some noodles and the vegetables on top. So, and I'll mix that together just so it's properly cooked, because there is a lot going on in that pan. Anyway, so yes, what was I going to say? Oh, that is not good. I should have waited longer for the water to boil. I feel the sense of regret now. I feel like, I've just gone too early. Anyway, while I wait for the water to boil, Yeah, that was it. So let's catch up with the chats. Broccoli is best when it's still crispy. I agree, but still, the really big chunk of broccoli, this big chunk of broccoli does need less cooking than this tiny bit of carrot. And, you know, all of these things are best when they're still crispy. And really, I should be eating it now. If I've done, you know, all the things, then I do need a bigger wok, 100%. I agree. Nah, I'm not cooking it in batches. Mega wok is required, yes. And so, let's do what Josie says, and let me tell you how it's tasting right now. That's some nice broccoli. Yeah. Beetroot's alright. Leek probably could have been cooked a little bit more. I made a mistake there. Yeah, that bit of sweet corn is good. Salty. I'm just really enjoying all the medley of flavors. There's so much going on. This is a bit of leek, and I mean, leek isn't the most exciting vegetable, but everything's taken on the taste of everything else. There's good oil in there, and there's like a bit of vinegar to break it all down. It feels like there's quite a bit going on. Now for the moments of truth, let's try one of the bits of turnip. So that's there we go. That's what the turnip looks like. Yeah, that's good. So let me. I am going to put some peanuts on top, but first, actually, that's going to bring in enough salt anyway. Is there anything else that it needs? I don't feel like it does. Maybe a tiny bit of pepper or chili. Oh, chili, that would be good. I've got some tiny bits of the end of a bottle. I think this is either from Lidl or Aldi, I can't remember. But chilies and basically it's chilies and vinegar. So I'm going to finish off that bottle. There wasn't much left anyway. Let's get a wee spoon, and I've got these fancy long spoons. I like the long spoons because they just make me feel fancier. And we'll go a big dollop of the chili in there. Let's finish this off. And actually, I'll probably put it back into the fridge just because I could imagine putting something or marinating it in this jar. So let me put the essentially empty thing back in the fridge. It will be used at a later date. Oh, and I've got this. Oh, the vinegar from this. I'm going to pour in here. Give it a bit of a swirl. And get more of that chili out. There we go. And I'll leave that in there so that next time I've got some spare vinegar, I can bring it out. So yes, I think that and there will be a few peanuts that I'm going to put on top. So I just think that the extra crunch of the peanuts is going to make everything a wee bit better. Let me give it a wee bit of a mix. And it looks like the broccoli, as I hypothesized, is not really taking on the colors. The leek is definitely being tinted red. The sugar snap peas are still very green. Let me bring down the camera a wee bit, sorry. Very green. The sort of, yeah, what sort? The greens are, yeah, still pretty green. This was salad, which I didn't use, but I might have tonight. Yeah, it was just kind of, when you see the things for 20p or 10p, it's like, oh, want that, want that. and hopefully you can use it before it all goes bad. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure you know what I mean. It's not that complicated a thing. Yeah, I did time this very badly. It is true. So I guess we're going to have a wee intermission. Dancing break, dancing break. I'm going to drink some water and give my body a shake. Water. An excellent drink. Water. Let's have more of it. Okay, so I am excited for this thing. It's looking very red. It's looking tasty. I'm getting a bit antsy. I'm thinking, why didn't I boil this? Start boiling these noodles earlier. What was I on? Why? And I'm going to give it a wee. Just see. It doesn't actually need too much. So, yeah. It's boiling away. Or. Yeah, I'm thinking in about a minute, I'm just going to rinse that water, and then I'm going to, empty the water, and then just put it in there, mix it together, get it on my plate, and then I'm going to eat it. And let's go with the red chopsticks today, by which I mean the ones with the red bottoms. Fanar, Rob, I know you're going to be amused by the word bottom every single time. Anyway, water is indeed good stuff. 100%. Rob is drinking some yerba mate and eating shortbread that Rob's daughter made yesterday. All very delicious. Jess asks if I can make a tinned curry next time. I'm not sure that's as interesting a process. It would be a lot shorter. Rob is not going to criticise my cooking. I do appreciate that. I mean, you're allowed to give. I'm kind of realising these things. Like, if I don't notice something, feel free to give me constructive criticism, I guess, if you really want. But anyway, next recipe with beetroots needs some type of white sauce so it can colour the whole dish. Huh. What do you mean by that? It's like, give me some sort of, send some recipes in the Discord if you have something particular in mind. Okay, that I will wait for. Yep, I've got the little timer in the corner there. So I'm going to wait for exactly 40 seconds. Absolutely not criticising cooking. Looks delicious. I was avoiding comments on bottoms. Fair enough. So, yes. I am hungry. I am excited to eat. This is going to be a good breakfast / lunch. I feel like I have 2 meals a day and sometimes snacks. How many meals a day do you eat? Like, I tend to not, especially on Friday, these days, what I actually try to start off my day, I completely forgot today, is to have a bottle of water, which is just a reused plastic container, with a couple of effervescent vitamin C or multivitamin tablets in it. Because even though the multivitamin might not be the key thing, it encourages me to drink the water, and then I have my first proper meal, maybe 12 or 1. Okay, let's turn that off. Let me. Got a wee strainer off screen, and I am straining these noodles, and then I'm going to put the heat on. Put on the heat. So we've got the heat is on. I am so fortunate to have gas. It's like instant heat. It's not like electricity where you need to wait for it to warm up something. It's like fire, instant. And Yeah, there's my wheat colander. It's actually, I'm really happy with this dish. I bought it like 10 years ago and it's come everywhere with me since. It's a tiny little steamer. Oh my gosh, look at how red this turnip is. This is not beetroot. This is a bit of white turnip that has turned red. Maybe you can't see it so clearly. I'll pick it up with chopsticks when I'm eating and you can see it. But yeah, it's really interesting what's picked up the colour and what hasn't. At least it is for me. I also wonder whether it's just partially to do with the order in which I put things in. And I'm impressed how even the sweet corn is starting to be a wee bit red. And we get the heat up, just heats it up again, gets it crispy, gets it nice. And I think I'm done with that. Get the noodles in. Boom. Oof, that was hot. Use the spoon to get the last of the noodles in rather than my fingers and burning my fingers. Yes, health and safety. This does not have as much health and safety as a BBC or ITV or whatever cooking show. And also my utensils come apart because this spatula is not great. And these noodles are going to turn quite pink. You can already see them. Check out that colour. That white. Boom. It goes into pink. Is that not amazing? Are beetroots not a brilliant thing? And that is basically done. I am excited by that. I'm turning that heat off. I'm going to show you one of these bits of noodles. Just bits of noodles. Check that out. How pink that is. Check out the white turnip. How red that is. Is that not quite amazing? Check out the broccoli. How, even though I put it right at the start, it's hardly changed colour at all. You can't see it, but maybe if I do it this way. Yep. Can see that's very green still. And yes, and you think that was a what? That was a bit of purple cabbage. That's now just a bit more red. Okay, I see a lot of excellent puns. I want to applaud everyone on the puns, but I'm going to try and put it into the plate before I reply to anything else. Putting this dish into the plate. Let me try and lower the thing. Putting the dish into the plate. Putting the dish into a plate in a very haphazard way. Hopefully it will not all fall out. I feel like that's actually a good amount for me to be getting on with. This could probably feed like a couple more people. Or potentially feed me tonight and also tomorrow morning. Anyway, this is my thing. I kind of wish I'd invited someone over now. Maybe next time I'll cook for like a similar amount, but I'll actually invite people over so that we can eat together. Anyway, I'm going to lift this up and stand here while I start eating. No, that's not good view. There we go. Now you can see the food. Oh, I almost forgot. Peanuts. There's going to be peanuts on top. Peanuts. And also it helps make the thing salty. Add the salt. There we go. So, peanuts. This is my dish. And let me get rid of this little thing. And well, I think I might be able to. I've got a little stool, So if I put this down and move this thing, I think I can sit relatively comfortably. Hey, I'm excited to taste this. So, let's see. Finchy says, I'll find a recipe and pop it into Discord. Thank you very much. Talking about the yerba mate, that sounds exciting, and I'm glad that you found a. Rob says, Gone Red, that's a turnip for the books. Jess asks, do you mainly eat red and pink food? No, I try to eat a variety of colours. I eat all sorts of colours. True story. Rob says, it looks tasty, healthy, and above all, it's red. And a minute ago, the stream was ASMR. Oh, how did that happen? How was it ASMR? But anyway, let's go with, this is a bit of purple cabbage. Has a lot of salt from the peanuts. Still a bit of crispiness, that's good. This is an actual bit of beetroot. There's definitely, I think that potentially soaking it and marinating it in vinegar the night before might be an improvement. It feels like it might, it's a little bit hard. Here we've got some leek and a bit more leek. Very soft, still a bit of crunch. The noodles are soft, are wholesome, are hearty. The leek is good. Sugar snap peas. Yeah, as I hypothesized, the sugar snap peas have not taken very much colour at all. And where's more of the peas? I'm trying to look. Ah, here's another pea. Oh, actually, look at this one. It has gone kind of brown. It was a lot more green, but now it's a kind of reddy green. I'm liking that. Wow. Yeah, and the salt from the peanuts really brings everything together. And check out this little bit of sweet corn. It used to be yellow, but now it's I'm enjoying that. But most red of all, remember, this is not beetroot. This was the white cabbage. This was originally completely white. And look how wonderfully it's taken on all of the colour. And you can see a tiny bit of white maybe in the middle there. Not quite white, but a sliver of less red. I am really digging this turnip. Look at that sliver of white in the middle. Can you see that? Tiny bits of white. But yeah, I'm really impressed at how well this turnip worked. I was not expecting the turnip to work. I was just kind of putting it in because of whimsy, because it fits the game and everything. But wow. And the carrots. I could take or leave the carrots, I'm going to be honest. Broccoli. The broccoli is alright. I mean, I'm not big on broccoli, but as far as broccoli goes, this is well seasoned. It's got a bit of the oil coming in. It's got a bit of the salt. It's got a... Firstly, thank you for explaining, Josie. Apparently, me eating makes it ASMR. People love hearing people eat. Well, I'm glad to hear that. making Jess hungry, who wants spaghetti bolognese. That's a very different meal, but yeah, let's. I do really like bits of peanuts in basically anything. Josie is cooking brunch. What are you cooking? Let us know. And just says you should dig for the turnips. Slightly confused by that comment. Apparently Thailand is turnip free and they eat butternut squash with their haggis and tatties. Jess is just yanking my dream. Take the carrot, don't leave it. When was there any indication that I was ever going to leave the carrot? Look. Carrot, is that not amazing? How red it is. And the bit that I just bit off, look, there's a tiny sliver of orange there, but then it's a rich, deep, purpley red. That is amazing, right? And of course, the thing that contributed the most to the colour, the beetroot itself. Beetroot, quite a thing. Oh, apparently I could take or leave the carrots is something I said. Yeah, I remember that now you bring it up. But, yeah, so... I mean, in the future, I might not put the effort into peeling the carrots or anything. And true story, I did have a bit of a blocked drain, but Chris, who's always so helpful, helping me turn things into fonts, replying to people on Twitter, making the puzzles and doing bits of graphic design, spent a couple of hours unblocking my drains. Like, Chris is just amazing. But yeah. And to offset it all, you've got the slight pinkiness of the leeks and the noodles, which are obviously normally white, but I am enjoying this. But I'm not going to be able to talk whilst eating. I mean, not without being seriously rude and keeping my mouth open and stuff. So I'm probably going to have a wee bit more of this. If there's any questions that you have or anything, then let me know. Otherwise, I am quite satisfied with this. So let's do a review of this dish. I mean, I'm happy with all my choices because all of these things were cheap to buy. And, like, except for the noodles, which actually cost a reasonable bit. Like, they were 50 pence. These are about 50 pence for the pack for the peanuts, and I used maybe third of a pack of that. Then I had like maybe 3 different things that were 20 pence each, like reduced. The thing with the broccoli and the sweet corn, and the thing with the turnip and the leek, and the one with the spring greens, which I think must be this little thing here. The spring greens definitely have a stronger, heartier taste. But then it's offset by this, which is just, light, and it feels like cozy comfort food. I guess if you really wanted to make this keto or carb free, then you don't have to put in the things. But I think peanuts are amazing. Having the saltiness of the peanuts and using that to season things is great. I love the I think it's from Lidl, the Bats chili flakes and vinegar, and just spoon a bit of that. I didn't have any garlic today, but I would have put some of that in if I did. If I were to make it again, I would probably, if I were to not put something, I think I would keep the purple cabbage, like just a wee bit of it, and it's easy to use as time goes on. I'm going to use more of it. I was really impressed with the turnips. Like the turnip, just so good. I'd definitely have the turnips and the beetroots. You need the beetroots. I think you need some sort of greens. I don't think I needed both the leeks and the spring greens, but obviously I'm enjoying having both of them. But yeah, I guess if it was just one, I'd probably, I don't know, it's really hard to say because spring greens, even though I don't like them quite as much on their own, they do provide more of a contrast to the lightness of other things going on. The sweet corn, like all that, I don't think I would buy these kinds of things at full price. But I think that's a nice thing about kind of being a bit more open to experimentation, being a bit more flowing with what you're cooking. And I cooked that all. That cost me about 80 pence for those veg because it was reduced. Let's say a full pack of peanuts, 25 pence. 45 pence. That's in £1.30. Was about 50 pence for the turnip, £1.80. The beetroots were about £1.50, so that's £3.30. And yeah, so this entire meal, like, it's very cheap, about £3.30, and look how much I got from it. Like, not only did I get that plate, but I got this entire wok, which, yeah, like, this is definitely enough for 3 meals. And so, yeah, So quickly catching up on things, Josie says, for brunch, Josie is cooking mushrooms, tomatoes, veggie sausage, and spinach in a bagel. Sounds exciting. And Jess says, I'm totally not lying. Haggis, tatties, and squash is yummy. And Ties did eat it at the pub and at my friend's house. Amazing. Rob says, the peanuts need to manage their expectations so as to avoid being crushed. Jess says, people with a peanut allergy should not go to Thailand. And Jess says, Bess's peanuts weren't crushed though. I guess she was tactful with them. Because apparently I'm a very supportive person. And I support the London Peanut Supports Group. It's been a lovely chat. And thank you, everyone. I'm seriously, look at that. That used to be an orange carrot. And now it's a purple carrot. Let me get it properly out. Look at that. That used to be orange. Is that not amazing? And like just the subtle flavor of the oil, and like I was tempted to bring something else into it, but I'm going to probably watch something, stop talking. I don't think anyone wants to. Yeah, I don't want to become one of those shows where you watch me watching something else. And it's already been an hour, but at this point, I'm going to say, firstly, question of the day. Question of the day. It's a little question before we part ways. The question of the day today is going to be, what was the last thing you cooked? I mean, Josie's already told us, but what was the last thing that you cooked? And whether you're watching live or after the fact, let me know. Do you enjoy cooking? That's a question. Do you enjoy cooking? That's like a big question. I enjoy cooking, but I don't enjoy cooking proportions just for one person. It feels very inefficient when you're cooking just for one person. I mean, sure, if you've got like lots of stuff prepped and then it's in a restaurant situation and then you can take a tiny handful of this, tiny handful of that, sure, that's fine. But yeah, and in truth, seriously, even just the notion of having like a fried egg and something on, like with that, it feels a little bit more wholesome. It feels a little bit more rewarding to me than opening up a tin, unless like the tins of just veg, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that's my question. Do you enjoy cooking? Question of the day. And I'm just glad you're having breakfast, Bez. Oh, thank you very much. Jess says, I like this food show. Let's do this every day. New feature? Yes, question of the day is a new feature. I thought I'd ask questions of the day to kind of, ask people things. Jess says, the last thing I actually cooked myself, I don't know. I live in Thailand, so I rarely have to cook. Most Thais don't even have kitchens. It's cheaper to just buy meals. Seriously? That seems kind of wrong. Last night, we went out for Israeli food, and some of the Thais didn't want to risk Israeli food. So they ordered Thai food. Wow. It's kind of like the boring English person. Instead, you've got the boring Thai people. Rob says, Miss B did all the cooking yesterday. This is not me, by the way. This is Rob's daughter. I like cooking, though. The last thing I cooked was on Friday. Rice, miso soup, and teriyaki salmon. Oh, sounds quite simple, but quite fancy at the same time. And Josie says, I love cooking, but it's just me, so I don't cook as much as I used to. Yeah, I get that. That's an advantage of stews. When you have a stew and you can just leave it around, like stir-fries, honestly, are really good, but then if you don't eat them straight away, they're not quite as nice. But like a stew, it's really easy to just heat it up again, and it still tastes 90% as good as it used to be. Oh wow, I didn't think of the cost of having a kitchen. That's wow. I'd never really thought about that. I thought you meant in terms of getting the raw ingredients. Well, that's really weird. That so many Thai homes come without kitchens. And Rob says some stews get better when reheated. Over to you. What are you up to? You can share button if you want to. What are you up to today? Do you have plans? I might head off to London on board again. I might play some more board games. Although I should do it now. I'll make a decision once I've eaten. I might cancel because I'm feeling like, well, Mondays are always my day off. I try to take all of Monday off, but I feel like I've got quite a bit of art and typography to do and stuff that I want to get done, and it would be nice to sort of catch up because, yeah, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit, yeah, I'll see how things go. But yeah, I do have the option of doing that. Either way, I'm going to make sure that I get outside. If I do go out to London on board, I will probably still come back in time to do a little bit more typography and stuff. So, what are you up to? Jess is snuggling the shark in bed. Was meant to be going bouldering, but maybe needs to have a reset. Harper Rob needs to do some clearing work. Also has tasks left to do in the castle war. Ooh, I might start thinking a little bit more about the game about finishing each other's rhymes. I feel like that's probably going to be my next thing. And coming up with some number of illustrations, probably 52, of just random things, which isn't a ridiculous amount. And that's what I do with every single game, it seems like. And Josie is off to a Pride escape room. Oh wow, I did not know that such things existed. So, to all of you, whether you're resting or whether you're going off and doing more game design or whether you're going off and puzzling your brains, I hope you have a wonderful day. And let's recap and wrap up before we finish up. So, yes, a game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and counting your beetroots is a game. It will come to Kickstarter at the end of March. It will be on Kickstarter for about 9 days. I've not got a preview page or a sign-up page yet, but please do sign up to my mailing list or my Facebook page if you aren't already. And yeah, if you have recipes for future things, then feel free to go ahead. Also, I'm thinking in my head, like I talked about today, how that game was started, how it had like it started and then I had to delay because of COVID, and then I started up again, and then David Brain made me think of Grabble, and then the two games combined really well, and then someone suggested the turnips, and the turnips feel like they're adding a little twist, which really works well, and I'm really proud of it now, and I'm looking forward to next weekend. Fingers crossed, I will have the prints of the beetroots version and also the red beetroots version, and also for the Kickstarter, I'll be making a radish version, which is going to be more colours going on. Check out me, Stuff by Bez everywhere, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbybez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, youtube.com/stuffbybez. I am streaming every day at 10 a.m. UK time, except for yesterday, but I'll be streaming for at least 59 more days. Yes, that sounds correct. And then I'm hoping that I'll make episode 600 short enough that I am able to do episode 601 the next day. Share, spread the word, and of course, as always, thank you very much, everyone. Just says, it was hard for me to find an apartment with a decent kitchen and there is no oven. I hardly know anyone with an oven here. Well, thank you, Jess. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Finch, for keeping me company. It's been delightful having you with me. Thank you so much. And there is, of course, only one thing left to say. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye-bye, Josie. Bye-bye, Jess. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.